I got a new sidekick this hour. He's, well, he was great in 30 Rock, great stand-up comedian. The guy teaches karate to strippers. I mean, he's just one man. It's Judah, the world champ Friedlander, who's joining us here in our New York City Man Cave. It's an amazing story. It's a touching story, and it's an emotional story. And thank you for sharing it.
Thanks for letting me share it to the world. You know, I'm just trying to make this world safer, one karate kick at a time. And thank you.
Not many people come up with a charity to teach karate to strippers. At what point did you say that you needed to tap into that?
Well, you know, in my book, it's an instructional book about how to defend yourself, and I also teach self-offense in the book, not just self-defense.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and the book can only be used for justice. It cannot be used for evil. But it's also important to give back to your community. And strippers, you know, they're often a neglected group, and they have dangerous jobs, and they need to learn how to defend themselves, you know, if the bouncers are unable to. And so I teach that in the book.
So you don't make it rain, you make it pain, is what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes I make it rain when I'm practicing my medium-high karate kicks and I hit a cloud.
I like that.
It starts
Wow.
crying for a few hours.
Wow.
That does happen.
If a fight broke out on the set of 30 Rock, who is going to make you nervous?
None of them would make me nervous. The only reason I was ever on that show was for security purposes, and then they just decided to let me give me a few lines here and there.
Alec Baldwin would scare me though.
Nah, he's actually really nice, and
he never went postal on you.
No, and he's only 4'3". He
okay.
He would actually sit on my shoulders and design some of my hats sometimes in between takes.
What about Tracy Morgan?
Completely harmless. Completely
Even
harmless.
though he grew up in a tough.
Yeah, no, Tracy's harmless. Yeah.
Tina Fey.
You got to be careful.
You
got to be careful.
Yeah, dangerous.
I actually gave her a few karate lessons, so I would be careful.
If it was
Tina's the only cast member I trained in karate.
Well, so you didn't trade Amy Poehler, so
No.
Was there any friction there that you didn't help Amy, but you helped Tina Fey?
No. Amy's a pretty good scrappler on her own.
If I put him in the octagon,
yeah,
Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, who comes out?
It would be Tina Fey because I trained her. Yeah, I'm not that big on MMA though. I think they're overrated. You know, they're big deals. They fight in an octagon. You know, you put them in a hexagon, those guys are helpless. I've seen them in a hexagon. They just have nothing going on at all.
How much sports did you guys touch on with 30 Rock? Was there ever
almost zero? We had the Stanley Cup on one episode. Tina's boyfriend Dennis Duffy somehow got the Stanley Cup. I can't remember the storyline, but they actually brought the real Stanley Cup to the set, and that was awesome. Yeah.
Well, you're not allowed to drink out of it. You know, we thought that if it was, we had it in our man cave a couple of weeks ago, but
they don't let you drink out of it.
No, we wanted to put wings in it, have beer and wings, and they said no, you can't. Like they were very particular. Do you realize what's been done to that cup over the decades?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We did a few raunchy photos with it.
You did?
Yeah. It was fun.
Now, when you do stand-up, I know you sort of like niche sports.
Yeah, I like every sport, but like the main sports I grew up playing were soccer and ping pong. Those are my main sports.
Those are niche sports.
Yeah. And the reason, well, soccer, it depends where you are. You know, it's worldwide, it's not a niche sport, but in this country, it's definitely an underdog sport.
Well, the Premiership I like because it's sort of college football on steroids with the crowds, the atmosphere.
Yeah, well, the reason I like EPL so much, the English Premier League, is because the fans are literally about 3 feet away from the field, and people just go crazy, and the game's super fast-paced, and, you know, it's just all action, basically. It's not boring.
What do you think of those British? Now, we have British fans, and then we have /hooligans.
Yeah. Well, you know, the hooligans, you know, again, they're not that effective, you know.
They're not.
They have no training in fighting at all. You know, they have a lot of passion. They have a lot of liquor in them, but not really a lot of skills.
Judah Friedlander joining us in the New York City Man Cave. The comedian. Last time a comedian made you laugh out loud.
Oh, geez. I don't know. Dave Attell, you know, he's a friend of mine, and I don't know. I see, you know, we're at the Comedy Cellar, you know, almost every night when we're in town, and so I see him a lot. Yeah.
Would you rather go up there and work off the audience or have the audience work off you?
I like to do both. Every time I do a show, there's a mix of you know, tried and true, tested material that I've done before. There's brand new stuff I'm working on. There's stuff I might have been like working on for like a week or a month, and then I talk with the crowd, you know, and I have the crowd ask me questions. You know, currently I'm talking a lot about my presidential campaign, you know, for the next election.
And it's official?
Yeah, it's official. Yeah, it's official. Yeah. And so I ask the crowd if they have any questions. And yeah, I like interacting with the crowd and playing off the crowd and coming up with stuff on the spot too. Definitely. I mean, I mean, the whole point of live entertainment is to make it live. It shouldn't be just some, stand-up is it's like a mix of a dialogue and a monologue. It's like you and there's no stand-up without an audience. There's none. You can't practice stand-up. You can practice, being a field goal kicker all by yourself and just do that all day, and you can still be good. But you can't practice stand-up. You got to do it.
Why do people not like Dane Cook?
I don't know. I think there's a couple reasons. I think there's some people who just don't like his comedy, and I think there's some people who grew up fans, and then they loved him, and then all of a sudden all this backlash came against Dane, and they're like, oh, well, I don't want to be uncool, so I'll stop liking him.
But can you
I think there's some
sample-
of that also.
As a musician, you can sample. As a comedian,
yeah,
you got to be close.
Well, he's had some stuff before. Oh, you're talking about like stealing jokes or
Yes.
stuff like that? Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't follow all that closely, but and yeah, you should never steal bits, and you shouldn't steal. And it's become. You'd think with the internet it would be less easy to steal, but I think it's become even more rampant because the thieves that are the most annoying and get away with it the most are the ones that don't steal word for word. They'll just change one little word or one little thing there.
Have you stolen before?
No, I don't steal at all. No, and that's how real thieves work. They'll be like, oh yeah, well mine's this, and I was doing it since then. But yeah, it sucks, but that's just the way it is. That's why you just got to keep working and stuff. I mean, I've had that happen to me tons of times. Those Chuck Norris fax books. They have several of my jokes in there, but they just put Chuck Norris's name in there instead of mine.
Wait, Chuck Norris?
Not him himself.
Oh.
But those facts. Yeah, Chuck Norris would never steal from me. He knows not to do that.
Yeah, because you know karate.
Yeah, I mean, I beat him up so bad he'd have changed his name to Charles.
Could you bring? Okay, if you had him, or you had Steven Seagal.
Well, Steven Seagal's maybe the only guy that can give me a fair fight because I trained him. But
could you knock the hairpiece off of him?
Yeah. I mean, Steven Seagal actually has a restraining order and a straining order against me.
A straining order?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, he knows a lot of tricks and he's been around a long time. So
Steven Seagal is funny without trying to be funny.
He's my #1 favorite movie star. I actually collect Steven Seagal stories. If I ever work with someone who's worked with Steven Seagal, I get stories. It's just unbelievable.
He's a Judah the World Champ Friedlander. He'll be in Irvine, California, the Improv there.
Yeah.
June 20th through the 30th. Columbus, the Funny Bone. See, I always thought like that would be, it's a go-to line about, oh, what do you think? You're going to be performing at the Funny Bone.
Yeah.
And
makes you feel good.
Yeah,
it makes you feel really good at the Giggle Factory or
July
whatever.
12th through the 14th, and the instructional karate book, How to Beat Up Anybody, is now available on paperback.
That's correct.
Better kisser, Amy Poehler or Tina Fey? Because I've said Tina Fey, but people will argue that.
That's a good question. I usually don't do a lot of kissing, but
Or Alec Baldwin, if you want to throw that one.
yeah, no, Alec's good too.
He's
Yeah.
handsome.
They're all very good.
But
They're
best
all-
looking person on the set of 30 Rock was?
Oh, I don't know. Because they're all good looking in different ways. I'm into. There's no one best really.
Oh, you're afraid of repercussions here. You're
No.
afraid of a
Well, I'm not
page-
even on the show anymore.
I know, but you could still hear from them.
Yeah, but there's Jane, there's Tina, there's Katrina.
They're powerful people.
They're all good in different ways.
I was watching Meet the Parents with my wife the other night.
Oh yeah.
And you're in the
That's the first
convenience
movie
store.
I ever did where it actually came out in the theaters. Yeah, that was the first one. Yeah, I did some before that never made it out, but that one made it out.
So
yeah.
you met Stiller there and then went to Zoolander?
I met Stiller there, and then when Zoolander was coming around, my manager at the time was always lying to me. And I heard that they were going to be making Zoolander, and Ben Stiller was writing and directing it. And he really liked working with me on Meet the Parents. He liked me a lot. And he actually recommended me to his agents in L.A., and I didn't have an agent at the time. And they passed on me. They thought I was too weird looking. I think they had said too specific looking. So I had his, and they said Ben Stiller's never recommended anyone before, yet they still passed on me because I was too specific looking. And then so Zoolander came up, and my agents were like, my managers at the time were like, yeah, we're tracking it. And one night I'm at the Comedy Cellar, and I see my friend Godfrey. Comedian.
Gilbert Gottfried?
No, Godfrey, black guy
okay.
named Godfrey.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, they get confused. Like, yeah, because so Godfrey, I see him sitting there. I'm like, oh, what you reading? He's like, it's this new script, Zoolander. I'm like, what? I'm like, I didn't know Zoolander was going on. So then, so I got myself an audition and went in, and then Stiller was, he's one auditioning you, and he's like, I'm gonna try to find something for you in this. So they like gave me a little part in it. So it was great.
And then you got in The Wrestler as well with Mickey
Yeah, The
Rourke.
Wrestler was great. I'm a big wrestling fan.
You know it's not real.
Oh yeah, I know it's not real.
But
Yeah.
how old were you when you realized it wasn't real?
Oh, I think pretty early on, yeah. But I always loved it
25?
as about 26.
26, 20. Yeah. Same with me.
But no, that was great because me and my best friend Mike, we used to drive from New York down to Philly to the ECW arena to go see matches in the mid '90s all the time, and the rest and South Jersey, and that's where The Wrestler took place. So that was great to be in.
Would you ever wear a Speedo in
I
the
can't.
ring?
I can't. Yeah.
Well, some of those guys.
I have too much going on
Oh,
down
you do?
there. I can't.
Wow.
That's why I'm banned from the Olympics and
Really?
swimming. Yeah.
You got a rudder down there? You wouldn't be a good
Yeah.
swimmer?
I actually beat Phelps once, and I was wearing jeans. I wasn't even.
Do you want to sit in? McLevin has his Against the Grain coming up after the break.
Yeah, sure, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Judah, the world champ, Friedlander. So you got the book, How to Beat Up Anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It is available now in paperback. We'll come back with Judah. Also, Archie Manning and Jack Harbaugh.